Hey, hey, it's Kelly here at Don't Run With Scissors, your favorite Jeep driving lawyer, mom of twins, three crazy dogs. Yeah, I'm exhausted. I have three crazy rescue dogs. I like to craft in my spare time. I'm training for Ironman, and I've gone back to school to be an ASL interpreter. Welcome back to my channel. It is March 7th at almost midnight here in Michigan. I'm exhausted. I've taken 4 tests today for midterms. Way to come back from spring break or midwinter break ended yesterday, and we have hit the ball ground running. Um, I had a teacher post some assignments that were due yesterday that we thought were due tomorrow night. Um, so I'm absolutely running on E, y'all. Yeah. Um, I got my new bionic ears. How crazy is that? They're so itty bitty. Um, we're still adjusting things on them, but they work really well when I remember to wear them. Um, you can't see them when they're in. Like, seriously, can't tell. It's crazy. Um, the other thing that I've realized is that there's a whole lot of loud people that don't realize that they're loud. And my bionic ears, there was a lady walking down the hallway tonight outside of our classroom. It was so loud I actually had to held my head in my ears. And the poor teacher was like, "Are you okay?" In the middle of a midterm, and I was like, "Yeah, I just got new hearing aids, and there's a really loud person walking down the hall." So, um, yeah, it's crazy. It's got a setting so that if you're wearing a mask, it will amplify voices. Um, the only problem is like if my hair is like this and the wind blows, it picks that up. Um, so there's a learning curve to it, but I can adjust it for all sorts of like different scenarios and whatnot. Um, so like I said, it's midterm week here at OCC. Although for my ASL 3 class, tomorrow night is the last night. On Thursday, we start ASL 4. Um, so while we're on the topic of ASL, no, I have not painted the wall, please. We all know that hasn't happened, because if it had happened, or if the drawers were fixed, I would have shared that with you all already. I don't know. It looks like there's something on my chip. Okay. So, sign of the day. This is grass. Grass. Don't eat grass. I guess you could eat grass. Let's see. And this is, I think I've taught you guys water and milk. Yeah. Lady, man, um, girl, boy. So I registered today for summer classes. I'm actually only taking 5 credits. It's 2 classes. Um, I know. I know. The problem is that I wanted to take ASL 5 and 6, which is only offered during the summer. The problem is that it conflicts with one of the classes that I actually need. 5 and 6 is just a recommended elective, but the other class I actually need. And so I'm going to have to wait till 5 and 6 next summer, which is fine because everybody's like, that's a great time to just kind of have the extra time signing and practicing before you sit for your certification exam. So totally fine. Speaking of that, I went online at our Michigan. In Michigan, we have to be certified, and then you have to take more testing to if you want to sign in schools, and depending on what level of school you want, um, school, school. No, that's teacher. You want to sign in, you have to have special endorsements. You also need a special endorsement then to sign in a medical setting, um, or in a legal setting. And so I went online and wanted to see, because again, I know that there's a shortage because I've had to have interpreters in for a court case, and I know how long we have to wait. Um, and the reason is because there are less than 25 legally endorsed sign language interpreters in the state of Michigan right now, covering the whole state. Less than 25. There's a couple more that live out of state, but then it's, do they zoom in? There is nobody right now in the state of Michigan that actually lives in the state of Michigan that is not only legal, has legal endorsement, but is also has a deaf blind endorsement. Now, in a perfect world, I will be getting both of those. I also realize that I have the background as far as classes that I have taken over the years, and information that I know that I potentially could take and pass to get the medical endorsement. So is that a priority? No, there's actually there's not a ton of medically endorsed, but there's a significantly, like probably 4 times more medically endorsed interpreters than there are legal interpreters. Um, so yeah, so that was kind of eye-opening to do, and to really see the numbers. It was a little scary. Um, you know, on other news front, the movie Coda. If you have not watched it, I'm going to highly recommend it. A Coda is a child of a deaf adult. Um, Creativity by Gidge. If you don't watch her, her floss tube hasn't been real regular right now. She's got a lot of things going on, all good things. Yay! Um, she is a Coda, which is kind of cool, and she signs during her floss tube when she does them. So, um, Coda, the movie, I believe it's on Apple TV, and you usually can get like a free 7-day subscription. I would highly recommend it. It won some awards, and it's kind of neat to watch movies like that finally get in deaf actors getting the accolades that they deserve. Um, but it's a great movie. You don't have to know sign to watch it. It has subtitles. Um, and who knows? Maybe you'll pick up some signs, and you'll understand my love of wanting to do this. Um, and why, just, it's another reason why it's so important to me. Um, I am not a Coda. Um, I have 2 children, the Wonder Twins, because they were preemies and because of some family history, as far as genetics, yay genetics. Um, Both had significant hearing loss when they were born, and required surgery. They needed some tubes and some drainage, and my kids didn't talk till they were 4. Yeah, and I distinctively can tell you exactly when the first time I heard my daughter say I love you. I can remember it. She was in preschool, and they were in the gross motor room, and I went to, every day I would go in there, and they'd been in there for a couple years, like in PPI is what it's, pre-primary impaired. So preschool for kids with special needs. Um, and every morning I would go, bye Bella, I love you. And she would wave, like, okay, mom. And the one day I dropped her off, and she had a little friend, and the little friend's name was Evelyn. Um, and Evelyn was also nonverbal, and Evelyn had autism. Um, but just the sweetest spirit, like, really. And we called her Evie. Bella called her Evie. And Evie, because that's what she could hear out of Evelyn, um, they were like best buddies at that point. And Evelyn has since went to a self-contained autism program. Um, and the last we heard, she was doing great. So, um, but every day I would say the same thing. Bye, Bella. I love you. Um, And one day she turned to me and she goes, "Bye, Mom, I love you." And I looked at her like it was huge. It was such, I mean, to hear that back from your child, any parent will tell you it's a great thing. But when you've waited so long to hear that, I looked at her teacher and I started crying and I go, "Did she just say it?" And I said, "What, Bella?" And she goes, "I love you." And then toddled off, like walked right off and went to play like it was no big deal. And then Evelyn, who never like had been doing all sorts of in-depth therapy, even beyond PPI, turned to me and she goes, "Bye." And it was just one of those days. And the teacher and I looked at each other. We both had tears like streaming down our face because we had waited so long for these two little girls to say anything and to say like lots of words. I mean, Bella had a few words that she would say, but like to say "I love you," like this whole big. So, anyways, I when the kids were little, we taught them some basic signs just to alleviate some of their frustration in being able to communicate. And I just seen so many people benefit. I've never seen a person, and I'm sure maybe there is one or two out there, but I have never seen anybody, both hearing or deaf, who don't benefit from learning sign. I, like I can give you example after example of hearing people who sign and benefit. Like it's a good thing. So, okay, so there's my speech. Okay, so it was market. I'm gonna be honest. While I've been watching the pictures and everything, and there's a couple patterns that there's one by Plum Street Samplers who I think do a fantastic job. Anyways, I have tons of their patterns. They're the one who make the wiener dog patterns, and we all know how I feel about my wiener dog. Um, they have one, and it's a house, and the bricks are shades of pink, and it's a Bible verse, but it's also a song, and it's one of my favorites growing up and singing in church. So that is probably one of the few that I'm like, no matter what I'm buying. Um, so I'll get with Bobby and I'll buy it. Um, but I mean, there's a lot of great patterns out there, but a lot of them I'm like, I could hold off. I have enough to stitch. Um, and I like I said, I've been really trying to be very diligent about working on my whips. And being conscious, although with all of the crazies today, we stopped for fast food. So, I'm really trying to be very conscious about my spending so that we have more of a down payment on a real house. So, that said, I actually did, last week was winter break. I got a lot of things at the office caught up. There's always more, and that's fine. Like, I'm not gonna ever be upset that I have more work to do. I actually am probably consistently at a point where if somebody wanted to join my firm as a junior associate, I would consider it, which is amazing. So very grateful. Let's see what else has gone on. So we have that. I have been working on a big project for my friend for Hillbilly Candles, and that is his new business card. And it's taken me forever. It's taken me calls to Cricut, and but I can now get my Cricut to print my little jar with all of the wording and cut it out. And actually, I've got it now where it's better centered. But yeah, how cute is that? How cute. Do you love it? Like, I love it. I'm so impressed with myself, which sounds really bad, but I am. So this has taken me 3 days to be able to do. Yeah, not gonna lie. It's 3 days worth of work you see here. Today I was on hold with Cricket to try and get to talk to somebody to help me um, figure out one of the things I couldn't figure out. Um, and I'm not going to lie, I was on hold just to get to a person for more than 2 hours. Yeah. Now the upside is my hearing aids, are Bluetooth enabled, so I don't have to lug around my phone as long as I'm within, reasonable distance, and I can talk and it picks it up. I'm getting more and more cyborg as we talk, like as life goes on. The other thing that we have found out is that my internal heart monitor, the battery died. So I have an appointment to see my cardiologist at the end of the month. My guess is when he finds out what we're still planning on doing training-wise for the next 2 years, he's going to put in another one because we have been still having some weird issues and we haven't passed out again, thank goodness. But he's pretty protective, and I'm very grateful that he is. So we will probably be going in. It's a quick little, it's an outpatient procedure. It's really and truly, it's not a big deal. Like they put a little slash in there, right about here. Pop the old one out. Last time when they replaced and put this one in, it popped right out. It wasn't, because sometimes there's scar tissue around it after it's been in your chest for 3 years, 2-3 years. The last one popped right out. It was easy peasy. And then they pop this one in. It's 2 stitches, no swimming for a couple days. You're good to go. I think I had to go back and get the stitch out. Or did I just have a butterfly? Like a steri strip? I don't remember. It's been 2 years, just over 2 years. So, okay. So with last week being spring break, or I call it spring break. It's midwinter break. I don't know. I did get some stitching done. We actually have 2 finishes. They're 2 simple. I stitched them on a scrap piece of Ada. I think it's 18 count. I did by Primrose Cottage. You'll see it. It's super cute. I did change the greens. The one green, this darker green. I think it's a darker green that I changed. If you want to know what color greens I use, just drop me a note. I have them set aside. So that I would remember what green they are. I changed it so that they're brighter because the one green was kind of a mucky green. And to me, St. Patrick's Day should be bright green. It should be Kelly green. Yes, my mother did. The other one that I did was by Helen D. And I changed the color. She has it charted in all 310 except for the O, which is the gold. I changed it. I think it's $6.99. It's either $6.99 or $700. That's usually my go-to bright green. And then I did a gold, like a gold yellow. It's not metallic. I just was not feeling like working with Kreinik or anything like that. So those are my 2 finishes. That makes 9 finishes for the year so far of my goal of 12. So I'm doing really well. I'm gonna just pop them into like little like I did with the Valentine's Day things. Not a big deal. I have pulled out a lot of I've been cutting. I started cutting my fabric to make my project bags. I figure if I mass cut everything and then I just sit down one day and just mass sew, that's kind of how I do my system. I know it's real high-tech system. It's real fancy and yeah. So the other thing that I've been working on is not on my Whip Go, and it's not on. It replaced. What did it replace on No New Starts? Y'all, what did it replace? Coffee Quaker. But first we drink the coffee, then we do the things, because that opened up a spot for large on my board, and Self Love by Birdie Crossing, which is Self Love Cell on Instagram. There's several of us doing it. Um, I then put in its place. I still have Lindy Stitches, I think, is a medium, so I still have that spot open on my 22 in 22, or yeah, my no new starts. So because they allocated 22 spots, and so like for my small, I had finished a small, so then I could start a small. Then I finished that small and I started a small, another one, and that's how I keep those going. The next one that I'm gonna do, I Stacy Stitches on Instagram. She did the Christmas swap last year, and she's doing one for like fall Halloween, and so I signed up to do that one. And so I gotta. That's gonna be my next small, is to do my little small for my buddy. And I think I know what I'm doing, like 99% sure. So anyways, back to Self Love by Birdie's Crossing on Etsy. Super, super fun. There's a bunch of us doing it. Um, these are my colors. I did add a brown in there. Um, if you want my colors, let me know. The only thing that I would tell you is that in second guessing, I was using DMC 963, which is a really light, like corally color. And I have an oatmeal Ada. I think it's a fiddler's cloth is the count, but it's like maybe a 20 count, 18, 20 count. It's pretty small, which is nice because we all know me and big projects. Um, and it's super stiff, so it's starting to loosen up finally. 963 blends in. It is a little tricky to see. So I will be honest, I don't know how much I'm going to use of 963 going forward. So what I'm doing right now is all of the motifs are in the blues, like the blue greens, kind of a tropically feeling. All of my words I'm doing in the pinks and corals. The crowns I am doing in, I try to do them in, like I pulled out all of my Etoile, I pulled out Krynic. I was like, okay, the thought of doing all of these crowns in Krynic made me want to just gouge my eyes out. And so what I settled on was DMC 7, which is this brown, like deep brown. It's supposed to remind me of the sand, like wet sand. And it really does look like wet sand, which is good because the oatmeal kind of reminds me of just sand because it's not a solid color. So anyways, enough blabbing. We got in, so this is how it's, so the words end there. I know these go probably about another little bit here, but I had started on the crowns. I had a second crown in and realized that I messed it up. So I tore it out. I had to. But that's where we're at. The first line, because you probably can't see it, it says, "You are more than the numbers on a scale." And then obviously we have sassy, which I am totally sassy. Ask anybody. Got me some sass. So I'm super, super excited. I love it. I love working on it. I really and truly do. When I'm feeling kind of blah about me, I pull it out and I work on it. So in some ways, it's a good thing not to see a whole lot of progress on it because that means I'm not feeling blah. Sorry. At the same time, like I really would love to see it up on the walls this year. And I don't see any reason why it shouldn't. When I'm actually stitching on it and not making mistakes, it goes pretty fast. Okay, so the other one that I've been working on is my Whip Go. I don't remember what square it is. Hey, maybe I have my Whip Go board here. I do. It is Whip Go square number 15, which got called for March. My goal is 10 days on. On it, we are on day 3. And except for the black back stitching, this is the Matrushka doll sale from Lakeside Needles. It was done last year. Kelly did not keep up with this one, which is amazing because I collect Matryoshka dolls. I love Matryoshka dolls. But then I was like, you know what? It's kind of nice that I didn't finish it last year because Matryoshka dolls are very like the Russian, the Polish, Ukrainian. That's very culturally our thing. I'm a Polish girl. I'm a 1/4% Polish. My grandmother is 100% Polish. Um, but I have several matryoshkas that came from the Eastern European bloc. So except for the back stitching on square number 1, and then there's like little color. There's supposed to be like rhinestones in the corners. Um, Square January is done, and I have now started on February. I have 3 days done on the Matryoshka sale, and I made that much progress because she wasn't like her head. She was probably about like to here, and the border was done, but like the little rhinestones on her head weren't filled in, and her lips weren't in. So now she's got lips. She's got a little face. But is she not gorgeous? She's gorgeous. So, we still have 7 days to work on her this month, for Whip Go, and then I have 7 days, or I have 10 days to put on my other piece as well. I'm getting a little nervous about the time because that's still 17 days, and we're on March 7th. And yeah. The nice thing is I set my goals for Whip Go yearly. So if I have to bounce over a day into next month or whatever, it's not a big deal. So my goals are on each of my projects are 10 days. 10 each day for me to count it as a day has to be at least 100 stitches. And they're yearly goals. So we have out of so far for January and February, I met each of those. And out of the 4 blocks that have been called yet, or have been called already, 3 of those 4, I actually finished the project within the 10 days. So I'm like, look, if I didn't do any more of WIPCO for the year, I'm going to call that a success in my book with everything else. So yeah, so as of right now, I haven't, in case anybody cares about my grades, here's the thing about grades. I always tell my kids, as long as you're doing your best work and you're making sure that you're not losing points over stupid things like turning in a light assignment or not turning in an assignment, because to me, if you're doing that or not doing the extra credit, like why wouldn't you do the extra credit? Like that, those are free points. You don't, like, you don't give up points over stupid shit, and you don't miss out on easy extra points to pad your grade. So like that, those are some base guidelines as far as grades. Other than that, if your best work is a C, great. If your best work is an A, great. All I want to see is your best work. So that said, I don't necessarily treat myself with the same grace as far as grades. I think mostly because I know that I'm capable of quite a bit. And growing up, I have parents and other people. Growing up at a very young age, I was told it was a good thing I was smart because my cousin, who was a model, she's no longer a model. She was the one who got the look. She's a year older than me. When I would bring home an A-, I got asked where the other points were. And that's really hard because I have a learning disability. I am dyslexic. I have a reading comprehension and spelling disorder as far as this form of dyslexia. And so studying is hard. The other thing is, remember, I am the middle child of 3. My older brother dropped out of school, out of high school. So like all of that pressure then like it got added onto my shoulders. So, you know, my mom when we were older, like when we were growing up, she took some college classes, but she doesn't have a college degree. My aunt, who is a nun, did end up getting her college degree, but I think I was in high school when my aunt finally graduated with it. Not finally, when my aunt graduated with her with her college degree. She's since gone on and gotten higher degrees, but like, me going to college, me going to law school was a huge deal in my family. Um, and so I put a lot of pressure on my grades. So, and I have a friend now who, like I said, oh yeah, like, I think I'll end up with like an A minus. And he's like, so what I'm hearing is there's room for improvement. And then I said, oh yeah, and I think I'm getting an A in this class. And they're like, how come it's not an A plus? Well, first of all, it's college. We don't offer A pluses. The highest you're going to get is an A. So, it's kind of crappy. So I'm really weird about that. But right now I have an A, a solid A still in anatomy physiology. I had an A going in to the midterm tonight. We'll see how that goes. I don't know. Like, I shed tears at one point. I was so frustrated. I was the last one out of the class. I took almost the entire time. I think I turned it in and I had like 10 minutes to spare as far as when he would have called it. I came out to my Jeep and I got ducked because we played Duck Duck Jeep. It's this cute. I got a cute little frog this time. So I could have, it just, yeah. I love my Jeep family. Honestly, I feel like every time I need that little extra, I, I get ducked or something. It's like just something fun. Um, so looks like I will have an A, maybe an A minus in ASL 3. So far we have an A in bio, and I'm on track to still get an A minus in web design, which is pretty damn exciting to me. So fingers crossed. I put in for some scholarships. I applied for some extra scholarships, and fingers crossed. Because again, we're still at I don't want to have to pay. I don't want to take out a loan to pay for this degree, and because of the way classes are structured, if I miss certain classes, it's going to extend me probably about a year, and we really don't want that. So, um, you know, obviously, the more we can pay in cash, or the more we get in grants and scholarships, the less I have to worry about coming out of household budget, which we've already gone over. So anyways, so fingers crossed that we get some of these scholarships that we're paying for, or that we're applying for. Yeah. Okay. So that said, it's now about midnight. By the time this gets uploaded, it will be midnight. And I had to be up early to take the boy to campus for his class in the morning. The nice thing is tomorrow night is ASL 3, but I've already done all the work, including the final, so I get to kind of chill tomorrow night. Actually, I need to do a bunch of bio and a bunch of, I have a stack this high sitting on my table here of work. As always, if there's anything I can do for you, please reach out. Please don't hesitate. Seriously, because maybe I can't help you directly, but maybe I can connect you with somebody who can. Or maybe, who knows? But if there's something I can do to help you, reach out. I'm His Princess Kelly on Instagram. That's probably the easiest way. Just shoot me a message. You can always find me on Facebook. And so, yeah. With that, I'm going to bed. I'm exhausted. I am totally whipped. I have to plug. That's the one thing I keep forgetting to do at night is I take them out, but I forget to plug in the little charger case. So sometimes my ears die on me. So yeah. But sending you all kinds of stitchy goodness and love. And I will talk to you next week. Bye, all.